Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We make content for your listening pleasure. Try to make the world a little bit better for you. Um, and so, atypical romance or being non romantic is kind of the concept that we're talking about here. If you are struggling with trying to find out where a relationship fits in your life or if one fits at all, would love to be of assistance to you. I've worked with over 18,000 people in the last 15 years. Would love to add you to that list and we can continue to move forward in a good way from there. So, what are some signs that you may be struggling with that level of attraction not really fitting for you? The first is you don't really have the idea of a crush, or the idea of a crush doesn't really appeal to you. Now, that doesn't mean you can't find someone attractive, but the idea of planning a future with them, the idea of being around them on a continual basis, the need to get to know them on a more intimate and emotional level isn't present for you, even if you have a physical attraction to them. The desire to strengthen the bond that comes when someone generally does have the desire for a more romantic relationship also does not present itself, and so that can become confusing to some people because although asexuality and or non-romantic folks do exist, I don't think they're talked about nearly enough in society because unfortunately our social construct is more based upon conformity than true self-acceptance, and so that can become problematic for some people. The next thing is that these individuals don't have the desire to formulate permanent emotional bonds in a romantic context, and so while something like a one night stand may exist, and while physical attraction and lust may exist, the idea of planning a future with a person or the idea of letting someone in that deeply is not present within the person. And a lot of times, what you'll see with folks in that particular predicament is they will try to force themselves to be what society considers acceptable in that way, and then when it doesn't work out, and or when they are trying to, um, you know, trying to force themselves to be something, then they realize that it's not working or that it can't work, and then they go through almost either a period of anxiety or frustration or depression or other forms of mental instability and illness, not because necessarily there's anything really wrong with them except the fear of judgment of what people think, that they are not seeking what is more socially acceptable. And so that's why being accepting of where a person is in that journey is also important. Many times these individuals are happier being single. Now it's weird. I've gone through periods of both where in fact I'm happier being single and don't imagine a relationship happening again. Uh, and then other times in my life, periods of my life, stretches of time where a relationship is something that I care about a great deal, and so certainly that's not um, the typical nature for someone who is, um, non-romantic or aromantic. But imagine being happier, literally happier being single, and not having a world that truly understands that those types of people do exist. There's certain levels of emotional freedom and financial freedom and personal freedom that come with permanently staying single by choice. The next thing there is to say that they don't have physical attraction and or lustful feelings is not a true statement. And so a person can separate the idea for physical intimacy from the idea for a committed relationship or romantic feelings. In other words, kind of compartmentalizing it and putting it towards, hey, this was fun, this is a good time, and we're both consenting adults, but I don't want something longer form with you. And I think that piece of where people are is much more common than we as a collective westernized society talk about. And I think a lot of hurt feelings and expectations that come with, well, that's not really talked about, that's not normal, most people aren't that way, doesn't mean that a lot of people aren't that way. It just means it hasn't permeated traditional society yet as a core. So if that is who you are, you don't desire romance, you don't desire that connect more permanent connective. Just be honest about that with the people with whom you engage, and at least then you can kind of be on the same page. So hopefully this is helpful. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.